The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Hey! A triple feature, 3 films up on the screen. One's a little heavy, one's a little sleek, and one's just caught between. We'll laugh and cry and overanalyze, dig through themes with wide, wild eyes. Grab some popcorn, take your seat. 3 times the fun, 3 times the treat. Hey, a triple feature. That's what we're here to do. What we're here to do. Buckle up, the lights go down, and we'll watch them all with you.
Good evening, or shall I say, court is now in session.
It's the wrong show. It's the wrong show.
It's true. That's on trial. But I feel like these are 3 legal-oriented comedies.
Indeed, they are.
Indeed, they are. And you are the legally oriented Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
Boy, am I oriented. Mark,
Yes, sir.
this was fun.
It's like the anti-Darren Aronofsky, right?
Yes, it sure is.
I'm not in trouble with this. Like, I didn't get a message from you saying we can't be friends anymore. You're not making Zorro videos about this one.
Yeah, it was a little rocky at the beginning, but I'll talk about how the next 2 that we watched after the first one actually made up for it. So,
What did you watch first?
we watched Clue.
I have so many questions.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, this triple feature. I'm the host, Mr. Mark Radulich. It'll be a mystery to see if I make it to the end of this podcast.
I remember you were diagnosed with a deviated septum, if I remember correctly.
I've had a deviated septum for quite some time now. Quite some time.
The doctor was, oh my
yes.
God.
I went to the doctor, I think it was on Thursday, and I got to go back for labs on Monday. I have 2 different inhalers. I'm on the steroids.
Jeez, criminy.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'll be all right.
It never misses you, I swear. Like,
No.
you are always down with something
Takes
around this
nothing
time.
for me to get sick these days. I don't ever think I get well is the problem.
Oh, okay.
I think I just get like barely functional and then long periods of dysfunction.
Can I ask like a behind the scenes question real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Because there is, we are currently in the middle of a podcast, but I noticed that StreamYard has done some interesting things here on the left-hand side of my screen. Am I seeing what's supposed to be the phone?
Yes.
Rendition of what? Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I am completely center, or people are going to be seeing this all the time.
Yeah.
I need to be doing this.
I'm not really worried about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's meant for like strictly scrolling apps, I guess.
Okay. All right.
Or threads, or I guess eventually we'll be on TikTok. We tried to change services so that we can get on TikTok, and man, Restream sucks.
Does it really? I was
Yeah.
wondering like what the progress was on
We
that.
had it for
Nothing really
less than a
changed.
day, and I told Sean I'm not using this. This
Not happening.
is
Okay.
functionally unusable.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we went right back to StreamYard again. So I'll just wait for this to catch up with TikTok. But hey, we're here to talk about Jonathan Lynn. You know who Jonathan Lynn is, Jesse?
I do now.
Yeah, he directed the 3 movies that we're going to talk about tonight. So let's get into that. Tonight's triple feature is built around a filmmaker whom most people underestimate if they even know him at all. Jonathan Lynn isn't a household name, but he's one of those directors who shaped the way film comedy works without ever becoming a celebrity himself. To understand him, you have to understand his roots. And don't forget your roots. And don't forget your socks.
Roots.
Lynn didn't start in Hollywood. He started at Cambridge in the Footlights, surrounded by the same British satirists who were redefining political comedy in the 1960s and 70s. Before he ever touched an American film, he co-created Yes, Minister and Yes, Prime Minister, two of the sharpest political comedies ever produced. Shows built on structure.
Almost the exact same name. It was Yes Minister and then Yes Prime Minister.
Yeah, Yes, Prime Minister was the spin-off sequel. See.
Oh, got it. Okay, all right. Okay, makes sense.
Shows built on structure, logic, and the absurd gap between how systems are supposed to function and how people actually behave inside them. That's the core of Jonathan Lynn's aesthetic. Comedy that comes from rules colliding with human incompetence. He's not interested in randomness or improv-based chaos. He's interested in precision. His movies feel like arguments. Every joke has a setup, a consequence, and an internal logic. And in 2025, Jesse, when studio comedy has mostly collapsed into ad-libbing and meme-shaped storytelling, Lynn's work reads like a manual for how smart comedy is supposed to function.
Okay.
Our first film tonight that we'll be discussing is Clue, released in 1985. The production history of this thing is a miracle. Paramount wanted a movie based on the board game because the 80s were a feeding frenzy of IP adaptations. And they brought in Jonathan Lynn because he understood ensemble mechanics better than anyone else they could find. Lynn rewrote the entire script so that every character had a motive, every clue lined up, and every joke had a narrative purpose. And then he did something only a playwright at heart would attempt. He built 3 different endings, each structurally valid, each solving the mystery in a different way. This was not a studio gimmick tacked on at the end. This was Lynn engineering a farce the way a mathematician builds a proof. The cast was stacked. Tim Curry, Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd, Eileen Brennan, Michael McKean, Leslie Ann Warren. The best character actors of that era all locked in a mansion together. The film cost around $15 million to make, about 14 and made about 14 and a half. It's a flop, but on home video, Clue became a phenomenon. People memorized it. Midnight screenings took off. Lines like, "I hated her so much. Flames on the side of my face.
Flames.
Heaving, breathing." Fucking amazing. Entered the cultural bloodstream. And now in 2025, Clue is taught in film schools for ensemble blocking, timing, and non-linear endings. It's the rare film that failed theatrically and then became immortal. And then our feature presentation, My Cousin Vinny, which you've seen the clips on TikTok. Mm-hmm. This is what, when you take all of those clips, you have a movie. that was released in 1992. The movie that finally made Hollywood realize that Jonathan Lynn wasn't just a clever writer, he was one of the best directors of character-driven comedy working at that time. The production started with a script by Dale Launer, but Lynn pushed it towards realism. He insisted that the courtroom scenes had to be accurate. He brought in legal consultants. He structured scenes around procedural tension rather than punchline fishing. The result is that to this day, law schools use My Cousin Vinny to teach cross-examination, witness credibility, and the logic behind expert testimony. Joe Pesci was already big coming off of Goodfellas, but this film showed he could carry a comedy without losing intensity. Marisa Tomei, Jesse, give me a whistle. Yes, sir. Gave the performance that won her the Oscar. Ralph Macchio didn't kick anyone in the face. He played it straight to give the film its stakes. Fred Gwynne, in his final film role, delivered one of the most beloved judges in cinema. The budget was around $11 million. The domestic box office hit $64 million and change. It was a genuine hit.
Mm-hmm.
And now more than 30 years later, it holds up because the comedy comes from the character and competence. Vinny isn't a clown. He's an amateur who learns. That's pure Jonathan Lynn. Ordinary people stumbling into mastery because the system around them is even dumber than they are. And then we end with a movie I only watched today. Trial and Error from 1997. the transitional film that marks the end of the mid-budget studio comedy era. This was Lynn working with Castle Rock, directing a script by Sarah Bernstein, and pairing Jeff Daniels with Michael Richards right before Richards' career imploded a decade later.
Oh, boy.
The plot is pure Lynn, a mild-mannered lawyer, a theatrical best friend, and an accidental impersonation, and the legal system spiraling out of control because nobody in it knows what they're doing. Charlize Theron, barely out of her mother's womb, early in her career, plays the love interest. And Rip Torn shows up to do what Rip Torn always did, anchor the chaos with violent sincerity. The movie cost around $25 million to make and earned roughly $14.5 million at the domestic box office. Another financial disappointment, but on cable and later streaming, it developed a second life. People recognized that underneath the slapstick was the same Jonathan Lim craftsmanship, character humor built on escalating consequences and tightly wound logic. In retrospect, it feels like the last gasp of the old school comedy before the Apatow era turned everything into improv workshops. Taken together, these three films show the full range of Jonathan Lynn's American work. Clue is precision farce. My Cousin Vinny is the character-driven procedural comedy. Trial and Error is the institutional absurdity piece. And all three demonstrate why Lynn matters in 2025. We live in a moment where the industry has forgotten how to make comedies like this. Everything is either outrage-based, nostalgia bait, or improv dressed up as a story. Jonathan Lynn represents the opposite. Structure, deliberate craft, and humor that grows out of people colliding with the systems they barely understand. His movies are comedies of competence and incompetence, stories where the funniest thing in the world is watching a plan fall apart in slow motion. And in his cinematic landscape starving for intelligence, Lynn's work reminds us that smart comedy isn't dead. It's just waiting for filmmakers brave enough to build jokes the way that he did. With thought, intention, and respect, Jesse, for the audience's brain. So were you familiar with anything Jonathan Lynn before we roped you into this project?
So I wouldn't have been able to tell you I knew his name, that's for sure. I had heard about Clue many a time just from people on the network mentioning it.
Saying they hated someone so much that flames were coming out on the side of their face.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. More that Tim Curry, has been talked about on this network quite a bit, and that movie would come up a lot of times. Never seen it up until we did this project.
Really, this is the first time viewing of Clue, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My Cousin Vinny was a really popular film that, again, I didn't watch.
Really?
I never watched it up until now.
This is also a first. Wow, Jesse.
Yeah. And I'd known it existed, and my goodness, just like you said, if you've seen something referencing this film, most likely, like you said, it's online media in some way, and because there's a lot of great quotes that happen in My Cousin Vinny, a lot of great moments as well. And also Trial and Error, never heard of it. Didn't know what the heck I was getting into.
Yeah, admittedly, neither did I. I needed a third film.
And I have no clue.
I could have picked The Whole Nine Yards, because that I had seen before, or maybe The Fighting Temptations. But there was I think I wanted something closer in theme to My Cousin Vinny, so that's why we went with Trial and Error. I had seen Nuns on the Run when it came out.
Nuns on the Run.
I don't remember The Distinguished Gentleman. That was peak Eddie Murphy, and I vaguely remember it. I never saw Greedy. I think I have seen maybe some of Sergeant Bilko. I think
that's Steve Martin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've definitely seen The Whole Nine Yards, but it has been years. I don't remember The Fighting Temptations, and I don't think anyone saw Wild Target.
The Whole Nine Yards?
Yeah.
What was that about?
That story follows a mild-mannered dentist as he travels to Chicago to inform a mob boss about the whereabouts of his new neighbor, a former hitman with a price on his head.
Who's in it?
Bruce Willis, Matthew Perry,
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Amanda Peet, Michael Clark
Amanda
Duncan.
Peet, if I remember correctly, has a scene. We'll just put it that way. If I remember, I think it's that one.
Yeah.
Where she shows up and her clothes do not. But yeah, I remember that one.
Lynn's work on the Minister series earned him 3 BAFTAs, 2 Broadcasting Press Guild Awards, and 2 Pi Television Writers Awards. He won the ACE Award for the Best Written Comedy Series. The Campaign for Freedom of Information also recognized Lynn with a special award for his work on the show. Lynn was a recipient of the Diamond Jubilee Award for Political Satire in 2010. He received an NAACP Image Award for the Fighting Temptation. So, yeah, an honored guy, a very talented guy, Jonathan Lynn. Let's get into Clue. Clue came out in 1985. It's based on the board game. It was written and directed by Jonathan Lynn, who co-wrote the story with John Landis. You know John Landis. He's made everything you've ever seen in your fucking life. Director of the Kentucky Fried Movie, Animal House, The Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London, Trading Places, Twilight Zone, Three Amigos, Amazon Women on the Moon, Beverly Hills Cops, the whole deal here. John Landis is part of all of our childhoods, whether you realize that or not. It includes the aforementioned Eileen Brennan, Tim Curry, Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd, Michael McKean, Martin Mull, and the beautiful, vivacious Leslie Ann Warren. Yeah, so I thought that was Susan Sarandon when I remember watching the trailer for this. Right. And I mean, my goodness. Yeah, she was very stunning. What a fetching dress she had. The only one that had anything on her was Colleen Camp, who played Yvette. Yeah. The maid. And my gosh. Fucking boobs coming out of that outfit. What a maid she was. Yes, she was. I'm a big fan of Madeline Kahn. She's fucking hilarious. Oh yeah, she's great in this. She's great. The film initially received mixed reviews, and it performed poorly at the box office, grossing $15 million in the United States against a budget of $50 million, but later developed a cult following. So let's get into Clue. It's really not that difficult of a concept. It's a murder mystery. Based on a board game. Or based on a board game. Before that becomes a meme in and of itself. Tim Curry invites these disparate people. They are all given code names like G.I. Joe and Cobra figures. And they resemble the characters in the game. Did you ever play the board game Clue? Oh, yeah. It's still something. I probably played it last month. So you have Colonel Mustard, Professor Plum, Mrs. White, Mrs. Peacock, Mrs. Scarlet, and Mr. Green. Mr. Green. And then you have to figure out who killed Mr. Body, where in the mansion, with what. That's the whole point of Clue. You move your space around, you ask questions, and then you figure out that Mrs. Scarlet killed Mr. Body with the revolver in the study. That's the game. That's basically how the movie goes. Tim Curry is like, here, everyone has a code name because this is you're here in anonymity. You're all being blackmailed. The one doing it to you is Mr. Body. And then it's like, well, who's telling the truth? Who's really Mr. Body? Is it Tim Curry? Is it the guy saying he's Mr. Body? Who's doing what? And over the course of the movie, more and more characters show up to the mansion and get killed. To this day, the singing telegram still fucking makes me laugh hard. Yeah. I am your singing telegram. Yeah, that was good. That was good stuff. And then they do multiple endings. The first one, Miss Scarlet killed everybody. The second one, Miss Peacock did it. And then the third one, they all killed somebody. But at the end of the movie, Mr. Green, who was actually undercover with the FBI, killed Mr. Body, who is actually Tim Roth, who is who's the butler. So Tim Curry, not Tim Roth. Tim Roth was a different dude for sure, but I think he played a butler in 4 Rooms. Yes. I'm gonna grab a drink really quick. Why don't you get into just? Actually, I want to hear this. What was your first watch like? Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay, so we get into the movie, and I mean things. Who are you watching it with, first of all? I'm just watching it with my wife. So all 3 of these are just me and Mindy watching them. Mm-hmm. And
I am having, I can already tell this is going to be a fun romp. Best right off the bat, the gag with him stepping in the dog crap and then everybody smelling it was hilarious.
Park, it was a running gag.
Yeah, I loved it. But anyway, as things start to kind of unfold, all of a sudden this thing picks up like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And there is, it's almost, if you're just watching this for the first time, do not beat yourself up if you cannot keep up, because this stuff starts developing and fingers start getting pointed, and you are, I'm trying to be like, okay, who actually did it? I'm trying to pay attention as they reveal things, and I'm still getting lost. So
really?
Yeah, I mean, they were so and so. I mean, we even have to have a recap at the end of this movie. The last quarter of this movie,
communism was a red herring.
The last quarter of this movie is like, okay, here we go. Just in case you weren't paying attention, we're going to do this again, and we're going to react almost act this whole movie out again. So yeah, I was there for all the chaos. It was a lot of fun, very entertaining. And finally, I just was like, okay, I need to shut my brain off and just kind of enjoy what's going on. Because not only we get some phenomenal performances from some of these great actors and actresses in this thing. For me, it was tough for me to follow. Like, I want to watch it again, so it makes a little bit more sense. And I think a lot of that is just because of how fast everything develops. Like, dialogue is going out there, just rapid fire.
It is. So Robert has said that he likes movies that reward you for paying attention to him. I don't know if he's seen Clue or not. I don't know if Clue would be really his style, but Clue is definitely, to me, one of those movies that absolutely rewards you for paying attention to it. Because you're right, there's a lot of detail. And my kids have seen it before, but they're more keying into a lot of the slapstick.
Sure. That's what I was probably doing.
So there's at least 2 different scenes where chandeliers fall and Martin Mull nearly shits his pants.
Yeah.
You have Tim Curry throwing Michael McKean all over the place.
Yes.
You have a lot of witty banter. So if you don't really follow the stuff about the working on the fusion bomb, how Martin Mull made his money, that Professor Plum, Christopher Lloyd, was molesting his patients.
Yeah.
Who worked for who and why. It doesn't really matter because there's still a lot of funny physical stuff happening on screen.
Right. And that's where I landed. I was enjoying what I was seeing. And I think, I don't know, I don't want to call that a detriment. I think it's a situation where it probably complemented exactly what was going on. But, I had more of a fun time watching these guys fall all over the place, or, land in some kind of secret passage or whatever.
It's a classic murder mystery. It's a classic murder mystery, but it has that very British sense of humor.
Yes.
Everything is very quick. You have to be listening. There are people who I know, it's craziness, but they don't like Monty Python because they don't have the attention span for it.
Yeah.
And they're not listening that intently because Monty Python is all delivery, all quick humor, all snappy comebacks.
Yep.
If you're not paying attention, you miss a lot of what makes Monty Python funny. That would be my assessment of Clue. Communism is a red herring is a funny joke because of the setup to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They spend so much time dealing with backstory that deals with communism and the Red Scare and all of that, and then it goes nowhere because communism is a red herring.
That's right. Red herring.
This was just about money, and it's so funny because in the third ending to it, the whole thing was set up so that if Mr. Body knew, Tim Curry knew that if he put all of these people in a room with people that were his network of spies and informants, they would do the dirty work for him, and he would get away scot-free. The one that he didn't count on was Mr. Green. Which has the funniest line of this movie, funnier than flames on the side of my face, and which is only funny because Madeline Kahn fucking leans into it.
Oh, yeah.
She's hilarious. She's a classic comedian. But that last line from Michael McKean, my son hit the floor. He's like, I'm gonna start using that when I leave rooms. I'm gonna go home and have sex with my wife.
Oh man, I want to just go cross that off right now. That was on my notes because I think that might be my favorite line of the whole movie, because you're led to believe that he's gay.
Right, that's his backstory.
The whole movie, and then the one ending, they're like, he keeps getting shit for it.
I'm a plant. I thought guys like you were called fruits. Can't even do that anymore.
It was good. It was good.
That's a quality line. I have to say, like, this cast has a lot of. First of all, these are like the ready for primetime players. These were quality comedians of their age. It's like the Avengers. These people, all known, working, experienced comedians in Hollywood, all known Hollywood actors. Madeline Kahn's a giant. Martin Mull was in everything at the time. Christopher Lloyd, you know who Christopher Lloyd is, Jesse.
I think I might know who that guy is.
Yeah, he's in one of your favorite movies.
You're right.
Private Benjamin.
That's right. Yeah. Nobody. He was the grandpa Nobody, which we just watched.
So yes, he's hilarious in that. Anyway, so Clue is it's an exceptionally funny movie, and it's one of those where it's like you could absolutely determine whether or not you want to be friends with somebody or like, you know, be someone's partner based on their which takes me back to your viewing experience. So you watch this with Mindy.
Yes.
It's very hard to pin Mindy down. It's also very hard to tell. It's also very hard to tell what she's going to like.
Right.
So what was her reaction to Clue?
Okay. So yeah, I've done a little bit of thought and introspection on this. So this movie's not going to be for everybody. Okay. They call it a cult classic. And the reason it's a cult classic is you are either a member of that cult or you're not. Mindy is not a member of that cult.
Again, not a huge fan of the British comedy, eh?
I think a lot of it has to do, and I really think that this is the case, when you are trained to watch Special Victims Unit, Law and Order, Trial and Error. No, wait, it's not Law and Order, Trial and Error. Law and Order, what is it called? Trial by Jury, I think is what it was.
Okay.
All of those police procedural type of things. You go into something like this, even though I could tell my wife, hey, this is a comedy. She's probably not going to like it if there's a murder and we're going to handle it like this. So
we're stacking bodies in the cellar, or we're doing polite mime with them, dude. Yes. Life would be a dream sequence where Madeline Kahn's making out with a dead body, and fucking Mrs. Peacock's animating the cook, and she's like making out with fucking Christopher Lloyd. Tears streaming
good
down.
Stuff.
I was laughing hysterically at that.
All good stuff. And unfortunately, stuff like this, when I watch a movie with somebody. And you may do this too, I don't know. But if it's one that I've seen or one that I'm hopeful that will be decent and I think is funny, it kind of influences me a little bit when I notice that the person I'm watching with is not enjoying themselves. So that might have had a little bit of a tent on my experience, I guess. It made it a little awkward.
I don't. I'm not trying to press you, and the woman's not here to defend herself, and I don't want you in a position of defending her.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
So I'm trying to be careful with how I word this, but so this was not her type of comedy. Like,
no, and it's not like, listen, my wife will watch anything with me. So don't like think that she's sitting over here throwing a fit or doing, rolling her eyes. But
I'm gonna start thinking like your wife is like Peter Griffin. Somebody better throw a fucking pie real soon.
I will tell you that TikTok was on probably 75% of this movie. So she's not interested.
Especially if it's a comedy, I'm just going to assume at some point Mindy says somebody better throw a fucking pie.
I mean, she can listen. We're going to get into two other movies that redeemed this one.
Okay.
And she was perfectly fine with these other two comedies that we had, but I don't know what it was. Maybe it is the British humor. Like maybe that is what set her off. I really never did. I should have asked her, like, why didn't you like the movie? But I could tell some of the jokes weren't landing. And, you know, her famous line is, "That was stupid." Here's
the thing. There are funny lines in the movie, but the humor is so subtle. Like Christopher Lloyd, who's lost his license to practice psychiatry because he was banging his patients, is demonstrating a sex position on Madeline Kahn. And Madeline Kahn, rather deadpan, like, "Get off me.
Get off of me." Yeah, that's good. But yeah, I think that's where Mindy landed. She was not into the humor at all. You know, this is supposed to be a murder mystery. She was probably like me, and you know, this is a lot at once.
Well, popular in Cantonese dinner is not often served in America. Is that what we had for dinner?
Yeah.
I can see why like that doesn't appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
Because it's that kind of like silly, almost like Zucker brother-esque humor.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I love Clue. I've watched it a ton of times. I quote it constantly. I've done the like "I am your singing telegram" dance. You know,
long story short, too late. I did not realize that was this. I had no clue.
Shoulders looked right at me when they said that. They were like, oh, they said the thing, Dad.
You say this all the time. What?
Flames on the side of my I hated her so much. So this is a movie criticism podcast, and the only thing I will say about this is not an evenly paced movie. It's just fucking slow to start. Like,
I think that almost, you know, I was hooked. Like when they're all sitting around and Tim Curry's got these papers in his hand and he's going to explain, like, okay, here's why we're all here.
The dinner sequence is almost unnecessary.
Okay. I mean, I guess, yeah, you're right. When you compare it to the rest of the movie.
Well, you don't learn. You kind of get to know the characters and that, but I feel like you could have done the same thing, just getting them right into the study. Like, eliminate the dinner sequence entirely. And I mean, I'm sure if Jonathan Lynn, right here, like, no, you need the dinner sequence for this. My problem is they all get there one by one, and while they get there fast, there's not a lot of time in between. They do the same foot sniffing joke like 3 times. Even
so funny.
Even like the lingering shots with the dog, like that's a long setup.
It really is.
So, like,
I'll agree.
It takes Tim Curry forever to get into the house, and then it takes a while for everyone to get there. Then they have to keep repeating things because a new person has come and it wasn't there 2 minutes ago when they already said this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of repetition in the beginning. Like if you don't have the patience for it, I could see where this would lose people. Then there's the dinner sequence, which is basically set up so Miss Peacock can just ramble, and they can do the monkey brains joke.
Which, by the way, Miss Peacock was so annoying in this movie. And granted, I know that's the way she was written and she was played very well. But her like wailing at some points, I'm like,
I had to
lady,
stop her
calm
from
down.
screaming.
Calm down.
Yeah, when they get to and then there's the fucking chase with Mr. Body. In the movie, and it's so funny because they have to do the multiple endings. The movie has to end a full half hour early.
Yeah.
Because they have to do the multiple. Wait, what was your favorite ending? Leslie Ann Warren.
Oh no, it's definitely
Aline Brennan, or all of them.
It's definitely all of them. When Michael McKean, his delivery of the last line is probably the one that made me go, "Oh, that's hilarious."
You know, he was one of the guys. He's one of the friends in Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, he was. Well, there's Iggy, and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Right.
Iggy or Ziggy, I can't remember. Ziggy,
right.
No, Ziggy was Quantum Leap. Though, it's funny, you're onto something here about how slow it starts because as we get towards the end, it's breakneck pace.
Yeah,
because they are running.
Well, that's the thing. It's like once we get them into the study and we get down to business, it starts to pick up the pace. Then it's a lot of rapid fire cutting because everyone's paired off and they're exploring the house, up. And they have to, and then they have to pepper it with murders. The cop, the driver has to show up, right? Martin Mull's driver, The cop has to show up, and that's a long sequence. The singing telegram is killed instantly and is the most hilarious death in the whole fucking movie. There's a bunch of stuff that happens with Yvette, and then finally they have to just like end the movie. But they got to do the Miss Scarlet ending first, then the Miss Peacock ending, then the total ending.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably my biggest criticism of Clue. It is an oddly paced movie, and if you're not committed to it, it's going to lose you real fast.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch it again just because, like I said, I'll have much more of appreciation of an appreciation for these lines and anticipating them as well, when they're about to happen, and probably have a better sense of what's going on. So, kudos to, our director here for kind of making it that way. I don't know if that's what was going through his head, is like, you need to watch this. I also heard that they did these 3 endings, but in theaters, like, they would only show one ending, and in a different theater, they may show a different ending. So if you're talking to somebody that went to a different theater, they never knew about the ending that you saw, possibly, until now. That's what I've heard. I remember reading that. So that would be crazy, though, and that's actually pretty inventive for the time, really. So I mean, that's pretty cool.
Honestly, to me, the only ending that completely works is the very last one with Michael McKean. Though the final line in the Miss Peacock sequence, Mrs. Peacock was a man. We're like the Mounties. We always get our man. Mrs. Peacock was a man.
Oh, man.
Slap the shit out of Mike McKean.
Yeah. Next up on the list for my favorite quote is they open up the door, and it's Martin Mull that goes, 2 corpses. Yep, everything's fine.
All right. So we got to move on to the next movie.
Okay.
And I need to hear you, but I also need to pee. So,
okay.
Explain for the people. You've never seen My Cousin Vinny before?
I have not seen My Cousin Vinny.
Did your wife react to My Cousin Vinny? Oh, that's the movie on TikTok that isn't Ted Lasso.
No. She no, did not happen. So I don't know what you watch versus what she watches, but it must not have come up enough.
Movie clips. I get like that, Suits, Ted Lasso, The Big Shot, the John Stamos show that was on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So why have you never seen My Cousin Vinny before?
Just never felt the need to rent it. I mean, I can remember like going to the video store and seeing it there.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it on TV, like just accidentally playing. I'm sure it probably streamed somewhere. I've never felt the need. And I honestly, Joe Pesci, for me, the role Joe Pesci has in my mind is Home Alone, the robber from Home Alone. I've seen Casino once. I know that's probably where your mind would go.
Oh my God, Casino's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. I know he
love Casino.
Yeah, he did. He did a great job in that. But I remember hearing like all of these, just people talk about the movie My Cousin Vinny, and I guess really, I personally thought that I wasn't going to give my time to this movie because it's just going to be a goofy comedy. I mean, it's Joe Pesci. Come on, he's acting. He's a lawyer. What? I wasn't interested in it here. So let me run down the cast here real quick. So we got Joe Pesci playing Vinny Gambini. He's a lawyer from New York. We got Ralph Macchio as Bill Gambini and his buddy Mitchell Whitfield as Stan Rothenstein. Can't remember. I remember that happening, being a contention in the court there. But anyway, Billy and Stan are heading down south, right? And they get to a store, and one of them, Billy, accidentally steals a can of tuna. Turns out, though, that the store clerk gets murdered, and these guys get pulled over, and they're fingered for the murder, and therefore they just...
I shot the clerk? I shot the clerk?
I shot the clerk?
That's as good as a confession.
Write it down. He's going to jail. Yeah, and so their way of getting out of this is Billy's like, oh, you know, I've got my cousin Vinny. Maybe he can get down here. He can help us get out of this jam. He's a lawyer. Vinny shows up with his vivacious, beautiful girlfriend, way out of his league, by the way. I don't know what league this guy plays.
Marisa Tomei with her fucking chicken neck.
My gosh. And her over the top suits. So she shows up there along with him, and it's definitely one of the things that you're going to hear in these next two movies for sure. I don't know if you could apply it to the first one there. I'm sure there's some parallels. Fish out of water. That is kind of the theme that we're going to have, at least with My Cousin Vinny in the next movie, Trial and Error. Because
let me tag in here. So the big thing about Vinny is that does mostly contract law or personal injury. He's never defended a murderer,
right?
And he doesn't know the trial lawyering procedures. And while we may have all watched a lot of courtroom TV,
we are not lawyers.
We are not lawyers. We are not always aware of each process, each step there is in a trial. So he comes in, and what he's good at is arguing. And over the course of the movie, what he finds out he's good at is deconstruction. He can I don't want to use the word deconstruct again, but I can't remember the word I'm actually looking for. Each witness he tears down. That's what he's really good at. That's his whole superpower. And he comes in ready to do that, except that that's not how trials work. You have arraignment. You have
how do they plead? That was my. You could tell him and the judge don't get off on the greatest footing.
Well, it starts with like the South is already very protective of their culture. They know that they are looked down upon by the North. If they had you may have recalled that there's a whole history of like a war of some sort, sort of disengagement between the North and the South. South not looked upon well. So this Yankee lawyer comes down. And he's very much not, in the ways of this part of rural Alabama. And the judge is like, I don't like interlopers here. I don't feel like you have to be here. That's kind of the attitude he gets from everybody. And then along the way, he's not trying to be disrespectful. He just doesn't know how things work. So he has to learn on the go. And he's trying to, and obviously it's touched on in the movie, but they don't really do anything with it. Where he's obviously there's the point where Marisa Tomei asked him, like, why didn't you prepare? Why didn't you go watch trials? It's like, how was I supposed to do that? I was always working in your uncle's garage. And then he says later on in the movie, he's like, I really wanted to win this on my own. I didn't want help.
Yeah,
she asked him several times throughout the movie, can I help you? And he's like, no, which is why the conclusion, dude, my son's just like, ever since you taught me about Chekhov's gun, I see it everywhere.
Right. Right. Yeah. The conclusion is he finally gets his girlfriend's help.
Right. Well, he sees what the issue is. He sees that the tire tracks that were made by the car of the guys that shot the clerk couldn't have been made by the defendant's tire. But he had been arguing the entire time that it was the same car when it wasn't. And now he knows how he's going to get the trial dismissed because he knows that they don't have any evidence anymore against the two kids, against Ralph Macchio and Dewey McJewface. So, Jew McWeinstein. Discredits. That's the word I was looking for. So he systematically discredits all the witnesses, and then Trotter brings in the automotive expert, who's like, who doesn't talk necessarily about the tire tracks, but talks about the tires. He was like, it was the same tires. And I was like, well, okay, but those tires were put on a lot of cars back when these cars were made. That doesn't really prove anything. It just proves the same tires that were on the defendant's cars were also on another car. Anyway, when he figures out that it's a different set of tires that made those tire tracks, or different, that it was a different car that made the tire tracks with the same tires, he can't put himself on the stand.
Right.
He has to get an automotive expert.
Right.
And finally, he figures out a way for her to help him. And by that point, she's fucking done with him. She's I hate you. Dude. Will you please make her answer the question? No, because I hate him.
Oh, man. I cannot believe I mean, I don't know what the running was, but the fact that Marisa Tomei won an Oscar, she did a great job. Don't get me wrong. I'm really surprised that.
Yeah, she won for Best Supporting Actress.
I just.
Joe Pesci won an American Comedy Award for Funniest Actor in a Motion Picture. Marisa Tomei won also for Chaplin for Most Promising Actress at the Chicago Film Critics Association, and then Marisa Tomei won Best Breakthrough Performance at the MTV Movie Awards. And Joe Pesci was nominated for a bunch of things, but she's fucking phenomenal in this.
She did a great job. Again, this is early work for her. I think I looked it up. She's 27 at this time when she's doing this film, and I know she may have had some. I know she had some previous roles, but we talked about her in The Wrestler.
Yeah,
and she was phenomenal in that as well.
Yeah, she's a great actress. I think she's. I don't think people realize how great she is.
Mm-hmm.
So going back, first watch of My Cousin Vinny. You're watching it with Mindy. What happened?
Yes. This movie it's put together well. It's tight and it's funny.
Yeah.
All right. All this stuff is landing perfectly in her lap, and she loves it. I mean, this is probably our favorite of the three. Clearly, Clue's going to be third. Trial and Error is going to come in a distant second. But My Cousin Vinny is great, and it appealed to both of us. So it is a smartly written film, but it has also got some very broad humor. I mean, at one point, Joe Pesci's doing fucking physical comedy in the mud. Oh yeah, he's falling down and doing all sorts of, and
it's also a very monologue-y comedy. Like Joe Pesci, Marisa Tomei, oh gosh, what's the judge's name? His real name?
Gwen, not Gwen. Hey, what is his last name?
Fred Gwynn.
Fred Gwynn. I was gonna call him Howard. It's Fred.
A lot of these guys have like a lot of time to talk and do really funny stuff. Like there's a lot, like Joe Pesci's monologue outside the cabin when they're in the argument and she's doing the biological clock conversation.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "How many?" This is a clip on TikTok. Like, how many more things can we pile onto this shit? Like, what else? What else you want to give me?
Yeah,
there's that.
There's some good writing here too. Like when the whole stuff when she's on the stand.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there's more.
And you don't expect that from her, which is also makes it good for the viewer because it kind of subverts your expectations. Yes, she grew up, but you see her throughout this whole movie wearing these, black and white suits, big sunglasses. She almost looks like a model.
Yeah.
And then she gets on the stand and she's like knows cars inside and out.
Right. But that's the whole point of that scene. Is the guy playing Trotter is just like, there's no fucking way she knows anything. Like, this is a bullshit maneuver. And that's the kind of the whole thing with My Cousin Vinny is he's learning how to defend somebody from a murder prosecution during the murder prosecution.
Right.
Like he's learning on the job and he's figuring things out. My favorite thing is the disclosure. It's like, I wish I could look at his notes. And he like walks in with like the case of notes. And he was like, "Yeah, I smooshed them. I just asked. I don't know how I did it." And she's like, "It's called disclosure. You dickhead."
He faxed them all over to me. I got them all right here. It's funny stuff.
And so he has to realize that he has to like investigate himself, which is funny because that line actually pays off later when he gives the note to the sheriff, and the sheriff's like, "Do your own investigations." He's like, "Please, you're gonna really want to do this, like." Don't give me a hard time. Just fucking do it. But he specifically used the word investigate because that's just it. You, as a lawyer, it's not when you're preparing for a trial, you actually have to go back and interview these people. Right. You have to get the witness list that the prosecution's going to use, and you have to go talk to them yourself. You have to, be prepared for cross-examination and things like that. You don't just make it up when you get to the fucking trial.
Yeah.
You know exactly what your strategy is. You know what you're trying to prove. I talked about this in the intro about like his comedy is a lot of logic proofs that pay off in like really funny jokes, and that My Cousin Vinny is very much that. because like Trotter's argument is, I have 3 witnesses. They all said they all say they witnessed these 2 guys going in and out of the sack of suds, and during that time, Jimmy Whiz or whatever the fuck his name is,
Jimmy Whiz
dies. And then he was just like, goes through each one of the witnesses. He was like, you couldn't have seen the whole thing. You were making breakfast. You couldn't have seen the whole thing. Your view was obstructed. You couldn't see the whole thing. You're fucking blind.
Right.
But he doesn't know that unless he talks to these people. He doesn't talk to these people unless he activates disclosure. And like the prosecuting attorney is not just going to offer his shit.
Right.
Like, here's all the material so that you could possibly win your case. Good luck to you. All's fair in love and war. Nope, you have to ask.
Right.
And that's the beauty of My Cousin Vinny, is that he has to figure this out along the way. And Vinny in and of himself is a decent fella. Like,
yeah.
Like what? He's a decent guy. He loves Marisa Tomei to the moon and back. He's just like, I'm a Goomba, and no one ever thought I would amount to anything. And now here I am. I'm a lawyer, which is already a big deal. And now here's this murder trial. It's like, I can really prove myself here. Finally, I can show what a man I am. But like, he's all thumbs, and he has no fucking mentor, so he's just like bumble fucking through it. And that's like the whole movie. Also, it's a lot of jokes about the South without putting the South down.
Yeah, that's important. There's, the way this movie kind of resolves. They could have wrote the sheriff off as being like, well, I got my man and I'm not going to do anything. That's not how it goes down. The sheriff is presented with evidence and he starts to realize, oh, crap, I might have got the wrong guy, the wrong kids that did this. I need to go get the actual person. So, yeah, they could have played them way, way stereotypical and they didn't. The judge, Fred Gwynn, Judge Chamberlain Haller, I think he went to Yale. He's very smart for specifically being a judge in this small township / city, whatever.
Right.
But he does such a great job, and he's very smart, and he runs a strict courtroom.
The thing is, he's not running a strict courtroom. He's just running a courtroom. But he's not gonna have some Goomba coming in like a clown.
Right.
He's just like, you come in, you're in a suit. This is a court. This is a court. This is a place of pristine this is a pristine institution. Come in dressed accordingly.
Right.
When he shows up in like the carnival barker outfit, he's like, are you mocking me with that suit? That's a legitimate question. He came in looking like a clown once again.
Yeah.
And he's like, the only store I could have bought a new suit in had the flu.
The store had the flu.
Yeah, the whole store. God knows I've been there. But I was thinking more about like, they start off in the one hotel and they're by some sort of plant, and the plant has a whistle.
Oh yeah.
Everyone else is used to, but he's not used to it. So then they move to another hotel, and that hotel is next to like a pig farm. So they hear the roosters and the pigs first thing in the morning. So he's not sleeping at night. So by the time he gets to, I think, like the first day of trial, he's like half asleep.
Oh yeah.
I think that's also the same sequence where he deconstructs all the witnesses.
Yeah, he goes to sleep at one point. They have to wake him up. Yeah, there's a train that goes by at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, I can't believe that you told me that that was odd for the train to go by at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's like, well, yeah, that's because it goes by at 4. And normally it goes by at 4.
My favorite bit is that he keeps getting like in contempt of court because he's pissing off the judge. And he's like, don't bail me out tonight. I'll actually get a decent night's sleep. And like there's like a prison riot or some shit.
And he's smiling as he's like drifting off.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, My Cousin Vinny is. I mean, it's not God, the Matthew McConaughey movie. Gosh, A Time to Kill. What if she was white?
No, it is not.
It's not A Time to Kill, but it's a good courtroom drama. It's a pretty basic case. My only problem with My Cousin Vinny is the setup's a little too stupid, because there's no fucking way they would have accepted that as an admission of guilt.
That was in my notes
without them being like a conspiracy or them being in on it or something. Like, there's no fucking way all you're going to get out of, it's just like, is Ralph Macchio like in shock going, I shot the cook? I shot the cook. I shot the clerk. Like, yeah, that was a little too convenient. The only other thing that I thought was awfully convenient was now he doesn't believe he's a real lawyer. And he keeps checking in New York, and he's like, "I'm Joe Gallo." Well, Joe Gallo's dead. Did I say Joe Gallo? I meant Joe Callo.
I meant Callo with a C.
Right. And so now he's got to go. now they got to like do a fix, so that when the judge checks again, he's like, "Oh, okay, you're legit," which of course they do. And that's another thing Marisa Tomei does for him in the tada nick of time. It's little details. It's stupid. It's not really believable, but you accept it as part of this world because everything else works so as well as it does. I'm trying to think of like other like really funny.
No, I'll tell you, my favorite one is the public defender trying to lay out a question to a witness, and he's like, you're thinking, oh man, here we go. Here's a guy that knows the law. He's going to get up there and he's going to be able to do, and he's just a absolute stuttering mess. And Austin Pendleton, which we're going to talk about here and also in Trial and Error, plays that guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, he is hilarious, and he only has like a really small part in this, but it is funny.
I'll tell you this, the only thing I don't like about this movie, in all honesty, is Ralph Macchio's friend is fucking relentlessly irritable.
Oh, dude, when he first meets Vinny though in the cell, and
that is a long gay joke.
It's hilarious.
That is a gay joke that never ends.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I got a chance to watch it. I really do think that I should have watched this a long time ago because everything I've heard about it's true.
I saw Clue. I don't think I saw it in the movies, but I definitely saw it on home video like everybody else did at like the height of its popularity. I definitely saw My Cousin Vinny in the theater.
Awesome.
And I've seen it. I've probably seen it once or twice since then, like on cable or something. It's a funny movie to watch, and like I said, it's cut up into pieces and all over my TikTok now. So there's all of the courtroom stuff is always on there, especially the stuff with Marissa. I have to talk about this. If we move on, I don't talk about how great Marisa Tomei's performance on the stand is. I'm gonna be like, man, like, why did we do this? It isn't just her delivery, her fucking head movements. When she's talking about the car and she's doing this, it's a limited slip differential. Like, what a total body performance she gives, man. It's so good. And just when he's dragging her in there and she's putting her on the stage, like, permission to treat the witness as hostile. You think I'm hostile now? What do you see when we get home tonight?
Oh boy, you're in for it.
Are you gonna answer his questions? No, because I hate him. That's quality shit, man. Her brain, when she realizes that the tire marks were not made by the same car, like, it's a subtle thing, but it's so good. She's like, no, the defendant's case does not hold water. It's, oh my God, she is so good on that stand. She, honestly, like, I was nudging Jonas, like, because, there's getting him down there, and then he's got to do a series of bumblefucks to get to where, and then he has to turn it around and he has to start showing what he can do. But then, the hero always has that last hurdle before the third act, right? It's at the point where the hero's at their lowest. So they bring in the automotive expert, who's like, yeah, it's the same car, same tires. And he's like, I don't know what to do now. I'm not prepared for this. I don't know. Like, my whole case is pretty much shot. Like, they could hang him on just this alone, even though I've thrown out, what was the word I used before?
D
something, yeah. After I've torn down, it wasn't
discredited.
Thank you, discredited. After I've discredited the witnesses, like, this could still hang us, and he's just like, God, I'm so close. I've done so good so far, and now I'm gonna get fucked up on this. And she's like, can I help you?
And he's looking at the pictures. It's just like, here's the case cracker, me in the shower.
He was pissed. He was so mad.
He was at his lowest.
Yeah.
He had, after everything that had happened, the sleepless nights, the bit with the suits, falling in the mud, and then she leaves him, and then he gets to the trial, and then he realizes, shit, the answer's sitting right in front of me, and it was her pictures.
There's absolutely, there's no way I'm letting Marisa Tomei walk out of that diner.
Mm-hmm.
No way. There's no way. I don't care how low you are. If you have that girl offering to help you with she can help me with anything she wants.
Well, I was gonna say also, like, you might think that like Marisa Tomei and Joe Pesci don't really look good together, but they had really good sexual chemistry in this. Like that bit where they're in bed, and he's like, the faucet's dripping. He's like, well, I turned it off. And this is where they flirt with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you turned it off? And she has to, like, this is a Chekhov's gun thing, because what she does in this scene, she will do at the end of the movie. She's like, I applied maximum torquage. And she's like going through all of this technical jargon. And he's like, well, I guess the fucking thing's broken, eh? And then, then
they pound. It was great.
Yeah, it takes your pounds down.
off.
But I nudged Jonas at the end of the movie, because I was just like, hey, remember that beat scene when they're in the bed? And she's, giving him all that technical jargon. She's like, here, watch this. And it pays off at the end. He's like, that's Chekhov's gun. And I'm like, very good, Jonas.
Very good.
We're the only kid in school who knows what that is. So yeah, My Cousin Vinny is one of the best movies ever made. And it's a silly, like, comedy. It's never been remade. No one's ever done anything with it. Never turned into a television show. But clearly people relate to it because they've taken the time to cut it up and throw it all over TikTok.
I really am actually impressed that there is not a My Cousin Vinny 2. I mean, this is a good movie, and I'm really surprised they're not like, okay, well, let's get him another case to be on. It never happened in 30 some years.
My Cousin Vinny the series.
I'm telling you, I'm kind of surprised.
All right, anything else about My Cousin Vinny?
No, let's wrap it up with a movie we both have not seen up until now.
Yeah, I picked this one because of its courtroom drama, and because we were doing My Cousin Vinny. I was like, all right, well, this fits, and honestly, I didn't want to do the whole 9 yards or Nuns on the Run. So, Trial and Error is a 1997 American comedy film directed by Jonathan Lynn. Stars Michael Richards of Seinfeld fame, Jeff Daniels, who I believe we would have talked about him in the Newsroom. He has been in a lot. Jeff Daniels, awards and nominations. He won for the Newsroom. He won for Godless. He's been nominated for The Purple Rose of Cairo, Something Wild, The Squid and the Whale, Comedy Rule, The Looming Tower, The Hours, Good Night and Good Luck, Blackbird, and To Kill a Mockingbird. So Jeff Daniels also in Dumb and Dumber.
Yes. Yeah, you got your highs. Now, by the way, Dumb and Dumber, that's a high for me. Love that movie.
You're a lunatic.
What? So are you not a Farrelly Brothers guy?
I fucking hate Dumb and Dumber.
Do you like any Farrelly Brothers? Like, pull up their films. Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yuck.
I can't believe you hate Dumb and Dumber.
I can already tell you I'm going to fucking hate all these movies.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. Farrelly Brothers movies. Dumb and Dumber. Hate it. Kingpin. I don't hate it, but I don't.
Kingpin's good.
It's one of those where I refuse to watch Something About Mary. I will quit the podcast if anyone.
You refuse to watch that? Why?
I don't like gross out humor.
Okay.
None
of these movies are going to be for you.
Yeah, I think I've seen Me, Myself, and Irene. I fucking hate it. I don't like a lot of Jim Carrey's filmography. I like his dramas. I don't like.
All right. Yeah, that's a little odd.
I've never seen Say It Isn't So. I have seen Shallow Hal, and I'm not really into it.
Not a good one.
Have not seen Stuck on You.
I don't know if I've seen that either. I might have.
Fever Pitch is okay.
Okay.
I don't remember The Ringer.
Oh, that's the Special Olympics one with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen Hall Pass. I
I've
did
heard
not see The Three Stooges.
Me either.
I've heard movie 43 is like the worst thing ever captured on film. I have definitely never seen Dumb and Dumber 2.
Okay.
Did not see Green Book.
Okay.
I have been wanting to watch and review The Greatest Beer Run Ever, and we've just never had an opportunity to. And I keep starting the book and then not finishing it. Didn't see Champions when it came out a couple of years ago. I have not watched Ricky Snicky just yet.
My wife watched that.
But we reviewed Dear Santa.
We did that. The Jack Black movie?
Yeah, he worked.
That was Farrelly Brothers.
They worked on that. Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right. So back to Trial and Error. And a very, very young, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed Charlize Theron. The film's plot concerns an attorney and his actor friend who takes his place in court to defend his boss's hopelessly guilty relative. Yeah, so the plot to this is Jeff Daniels is a lawyer. He's going to marry the rich girl. He's got it made. He just has to do this one case. His friend comes into town. He's a ne'er-do-well and a dipshit. That's Michael Richards. He's an actor. They go out. They have a bachelor party. Jeff Daniels gets punched in the face, and because he's kind of a puss, somehow gets a concussion and can't do trial the next day.
Somehow gets a concussion.
He got punched in the fucking head, and somehow lost math, for a little while, and he couldn't not show up to court for some.
Well, no. Hold on. He took some medication and he took a lot more than he should have, and that's what made it so he could not go to court, because Michael Richards comes in there and says, "Hey,
I was just knocked out cold in the fucking mosh pit, and I got up and went to work."
Okay, all right. I mean, the concussion was the thing here, but in fact, I think he could have went. He just would have had a bad headache. The fact that he took a whole bottle of medication instead of taking just the one that he was prescribed.
1, 2.
Yeah.
Fucking steroids.
All right.
Hey, this bullshit. Want to know how many fucking meds I'm on? I'm here.
All right.
I don't want to fucking hear it.
All right. So anyway, he can't make it to court because of that.
Yeah.
Michael Richards takes
Michael
his
Richards
place.
commits a felony and takes his place. And I mean, to his credit, he tried to get a continuance. And the defense, who he had hit on in a bar the night before, was like, "No, we're prepared to go to fucking trial. Let's go." First unrealistic thing about this movie: the legal system fucking loves continuances. Love them. Nobody wants to do shit in court anymore. If a lawyer goes like, "I want a continuance," the judge is like, "Yes," and runs out of the room. All that's left is the fucking robe and the gavel.
He throws the gavel in the air and takes off, and it hits as he's going out the door.
Yeah, so this judge's like, "Oh yeah, no, fuck continuances. We're ready to go to trial. Let's go." Nope, they would have absolutely gotten a continuance. But but if they do a continuance, then we don't have a movie, so there's no continuance. But now he's identified himself as the lawyer of record, and that's another thing. You can't just surprise change a trial. If you fire your attorney, you have to get the new attorney listed on the case. You can't just be showing up with attorneys left and right. You can't my Cousin Vinny can't come down. Like he said, there was a thing in My Cousin Vinny where he had to be approved too.
Right.
As an out-of-state attorney, because you have to practice law in the state that you're licensed. Just like I can't do therapy in Ohio. Can only do it in Florida. It's the only place I'm licensed. I'd have to get licensed in Florida, Georgia, New York, wherever, as well as Florida. That's the way this works.
That's right.
Because we're a fucking stupid country. Anyway, so he's now identified himself as the attorney of record. So when Jeff Daniels shows up, they're like, "Who the fuck are you?" "Well, I'm an associate." "Well, what are you exactly?" So there's that. And now they're committed to the gimmick. So Jeff Daniels has to somehow win this case while puppeteering Michael Richards.
Right.
And they got to get all this past the prosecuting attorney. Oh, and Rip Torn is guilty as is queer as a $3 bill here. He's fucking guilty all day long. He basically sold people pennies or something like that.
Yeah, he sold people an engraving of Lincoln. I think it was a commemorative Lincoln engraving And it turns out, they paid $17.99 for them to send them a penny.
Right.
So
he ripped all these people off. Should have been guilty all day long, and as it turns out, like they take it to trial. They don't plea bargain. At one point, Michael Richards is like, "But we can win. I can get this guy off," because the whole thing about Michael Richards is he's basically doing Jim Carrey's liar liar character, but not as well.
Which, by the way, what came out in 1997 as well.
Yeah, so I can see why this movie did not do as well.
Right.
So the whole, like, Michael Richards has to go on this long, strange trip to not be a liar, essentially. That's what the movie's about. Meanwhile, Jeff Daniels is like, again, my whole life is a lie. Like, I'm this big-time attorney. I'm marrying this girl that I don't love. I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do because I think I'm supposed to do them. But this is not what I want to do. And then he meets Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron is like, look, freedom and pussy. And he's like, you're right. So he...
You've changed my life.
Yeah, that's how that goes. Like, freedom and pussy. I'd never thought of it that way. You're right, Charlize Theron. You're awfully cute. So at the end, Michael Richards, they win the case. They initially get the plea bargain, is what happens, and then Michael Richards has like a crisis of conscience, and then tells the prosecuting attorney, who doesn't immediately get him arrested, that like, yeah, I'm bullshit. So they end up rejecting the plea. So Rip Torn, thinking that he's gonna get away with murder, rejects the plea bargain, gets found guilty, and gets sentenced. But Michael Richards has learned to be a better person, so he hooks up with the lawyer, and Jeff Daniels gets caught banging two different gals, and he finally comes clean, and then he decides he's gonna go back to being a lawyer, but he's not gonna marry this broad. And him and Charlize Theron in theory hook up, and that's the whole movie. So. My only real like comment about this movie is that Michael Richards is actually not that annoying, because I kind of hate him.
Oh,
I think he's another one where he has one joke,
one note,
and I liked Seinfeld. Who didn't? But what was funny to me about Kramer was the physical comedy that
right.
Him crashing through the door. Him, anytime he had to interact with anything, he would do one of these,
right.
Exaggerated vaudevillian fucking reactions that he had. Like, that to me was funny. He never said anything funny, though. The funny two were Jerry and George. George was by far the funniest person on that show. His overreactions, how angry he was, that shit was great. His sense of entitlement. So all that stuff to me was funny. Michael Richards to me was never funny. I also did not fucking lose my mind when he got up on stage and had a nervous breakdown and just started yelling racial slurs.
It's a problem.
I mean, like, I understand why other people were like mad about it. I was like, meh. Like, we all have bad days. So anyway, but Michael Richards has never been one of my favorite comedians, and I think he gets stuff because they see him do Kramer, and people want him to do more Kramer, and I find that annoying. Here, he actually acts like a functional human. He's just a way. He's got a way about him, and he learns to undo that way about him and be a better guy. I'm good with this.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
I'll disagree somewhat, and I think that's a lot of because I could not divorce him from the Kramer character. Like, it was tough for me to do that. So anytime he did something physically, I immediately was thinking Kramer. So I felt,
he's very not Kramer in this movie, though.
Well, I don't know about all that. I mean, then again, I feel that I was probably in some way influenced because I've watched so much Seinfeld. Like, you could see Michael Richards. I feel like, he's got there's some physical comedy here for sure. It's not played up like it was with Kramer, but it would take me out of the film sometimes. Where
Jeff Daniels crashed through the fucking ceiling, but again, that's not Michael Richards.
No, it's not Michael Richards. Jeff Daniels known for a little bit of his physical comedy as well. Dumb and Dumber. So, but I couldn't.
You.
It stinks.
I am a snob.
So okay. I I feel like, some of this was just not written well.
Okay.
I-
Yeah.
I
Well,
j-
it's a goofy fucking premise.
Well, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Richard's character, what is his name? I think it's actually Richard. Richard and his sometimes, like, there were moments where I thought he crossed the line quite a bit with the DA. Like, he just shows up at her house. I don't know if it felt like we were leading up to some kind of romantic thing, but he like plants one on her, and I'm like, dude, that is a district attorney. You're about to land your ass in jail. But obviously she doesn't do that. Other than that, she just kicks him out. This
is several years before Me Too.
Yeah. You can tell that. Also, Jeff Daniels gets away with a lot here. When it comes to relationships and the romantic relationship that happens here between him and Charlize Theron, the fact that, number one, he is about to marry somebody else.
Right.
He decides, oh, I'm going to go ahead and develop a relationship here with this younger girl.
She fed him a fucking egg sandwich. They're practically married.
Oh, yeah.
Egg salad sandwich. It's fucking right in his face.
Sleeps with her. Yeah. Doesn't tell her anything about the fact that...
Jesse.
Tell me, Mark.
Some chick's trying to shove her egg salad sandwich down your throat. You're going to fucking remember at that particular moment, oh, wait, I'm betrothed.
Oh, wait, I'm supposed to get married. And then it all leads up to the hilarious moment when the future wife,
that's a short scene.
The future wife-to-be shows up at the same hotel that she's a barmaid or whatever she is.
Yeah.
And then he has to kind of break it to her.
Yep.
And then
she takes it fucking well, man. She's like, I get it. And then like a proper lady, she cries outside.
And then what happens after all said and done? Within like 10 minutes, she's back on.
I forget.
Hop in the Jeep. Let's go.
I fucking forget. Jesse's. See, people think you're like comic book Jesse, or you're Back to the Future Jesse, or I was married at 12 Jesse. No. You know what you're real Jesse.
The real Jesse.
Real Jesse. You're chivalry Jesse.
Chivalry Jesse. Okay.
You're all about like being chivalrous to women. I don't even understand why you talk to me.
We're the yin and yang of podcasting here, I guess.
We really are.
Yin and yang of sexual harassment.
I'm like, well, what happens in a fucking other state is perfectly okay. And you're like, what happens to Betsy?
Wait a second. So anyway,
should have ran home and taken a cold shower.
Terrible romantic choices, terrible romantic writing, in my opinion.
You fucking you fucking Charlize Theron fucking fish you in the mouth with an egg salad sandwich. You're fucking cheating on your wife. You don't even gotta say nothing. I can set it for you. It's all right. I got you. I'm your lawyer. Mark Radulich Esquire.
Yeah, dude. That'll get me very far.
Yeah. You can't fucking lie to me though.
I'll still be down in the basement. Don't worry.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
Let's see. What else did I have in my notes here? You can't, I talk about Liar, Liar. That's happening in 1997. It's done way better. I love Jim Carrey in that. And
Jim Carrey was like twice the actor of Jeff Daniels and fucking.
Oh, yeah. You combine those two. You're right, dude. Right.
He was like the single, like, highest paid fucking comedian in that era.
In 1997, that's peak Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, really is. So, again, they got that kind of going against them. You also have the fact that you've had My Cousin Vinny 5 years earlier in 92, right, which was done way better than this. And I understand, like, they're like, Michael Richards is a hot thing. He's just coming off of Seinfeld. I think Seinfeld had ended that year, or no, it's 98.
I think it's a great lesson, and not everybody transitions from television to film real well. Look at the Friends people, right? Yeah, Jennifer Aniston, obviously the most successful of the six.
Yeah.
Courtney Cox, probably the next successful one. Lisa Kudrow did okay, still continues to get work. Matthew Perry did decently until his tragic suicide. The guy who played Joey, he struggled. And then David Schwimmer. Like, David Schwimmer would show up in things here and there, and he's in Band of Brothers, and I remember talking to Andrew about this. Fucking David Schwimmer is intense in Band of Brothers. Like, oh my God, that's Ross.
Yeah,
But it's different levels of success with, and I'm just using that as one example.
Right.
Not everybody was that transition from Friends to the film was as successful as Jennifer Aniston was. So obviously, and like if you look at Seinfeld, did they all go on to have varying movie careers? Sure. Jerry Seinfeld, no one's going to say he was unsuccessful, but obviously the most successful out of all of them was the broad who played Elaine.
Oh yeah. I was just sitting here thinking about. I know Michael Richards from 3 Roles.
Mm-hmm.
That's now this one.
Yep.
Kramer and the crazy guy from UHF who wants to drink from the fire hose.
The fucking janitor who wants to drink from the fire hose.
So those are the 3 roles that I know he's in. Obviously, Kramer being the most.
This was obviously meant for him to like look at me. I can be a big because he's the lead in this.
Yeah,
this is his movie. Like Jeff Daniels is the supporting actor. And people were just like, this is not enough like My Cousin Vinny to be good. This is not as good as Liar Liar. And Michael Richards I think has his role, but not. I think it's another lesson in just because you were funny at an ensemble on a hit TV show does not mean America wants to see you in a lead role. And
agreed.
To that point, I had to find this. This isn't streaming anywhere. I had to find this uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah, which thank goodness. I mean, that was a great quality.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a really good quality rip or whatever you want to call this. So clearly nobody's clamoring to take this thing down. Like it might be the one thing that is kind of keeping this thing. I can't believe I'd never heard of this film.
Not even a clue. I only know it because I know I wanted to talk about My Cousin Vinny with you, and then I saw what else Jonathan Lynn did. I'm like, oh, awesome! I can talk about Clue. I've never done that before, and it gives me an excuse to watch that. And I'm like, what else do I want to do? Boy, not a lot of good choices here. So, all right, I'm good with talking about Trial and Error. It's okay. The one thing I said in my intro, which I'll repeat here. This really does mark the end of like the mid-budget comedy. Because the Fancy was not wrong. After this, comedy looks way different. Comedy is ruled by Judd Apatow and Adam Sandler, and it's a whole other world. But go ahead and do your plugs. I'm good.
All right.
Unless you got anything else.
No. I mean, this felt more like a movie made of moments, small, funny moments, than it was actually something that I could be like, oh, wow. I'll never come back to this again. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I will not watch this again.
My Cousin Vinny, I definitely will. And Clue, I definitely will. But Trial and Error. Yeah, Broken Arrow, Trial and Error. And yeah, there you go.
Right.
I can't even remember the name of the film right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead and get into plugs. It's been a lot of fun here on Triple Feature. Myself, I do a comic book podcast called the Source Material Comics Podcast, and we've got our own YouTube feed out there. We've got our own feed here on the W2M network. So if you get a chance, go check that out. The Source Material Comics Podcast covers comics of any era. Usually you can hear me and Mark on there talking about some of the interesting comic books of the day. And I will tell you that recently we are getting into Day Tripper. So if a lot of good discussion there about moments in life and death. So if you want to check that out, me and Mark have a good conversation. Usually I think we broke it up into 3 episodes. They're about half an hour long each. So check that out. And then the Unspoken Issues podcast is also on that feed where we talk about 90s comics. And I haven't uploaded one recently. The last one we did was at the end of October where we talked about the Midnight Massacre. So if you read 90s Marvel, You might remember that as being one of the big crossovers, and included Ghost Rider, Morbius, the Darkhold Book of Sins, or whatever that was called. Anyway, good stuff. Ghost Rider Blade ends up going off the rails and becomes a villain in it. If you want to check that out, again, 5 real quick 25-minute episodes. And then, of course, me and Evan Bevins get together and we discuss Marvel Snap every once in a while on a podcast called Snap Material. And we just did one last week, I believe, on the newest season. So we had a good time talking about that. Check that out. So with that being said, that is all I've got.
All right. Tomorrow, myself and Robert will be reviewing The Running Man with Glenn Campbell, I think his name is. It's the new one. It's the new remake that's out in theaters right now. Saw it today. It was okay. Like,
it does it land at all like the old one did?
not even a little.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. Oh, Alexis will be there too. Oh, super. Fucking awesome.
I remember her nickname was Stupid Alexis. Is that what I said?
Stop getting me in trouble.
Listen, what did you just do? What did you just do? You moaned and groaned the fact that she was going to be on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. I'm fucking sick as it is. I don't need this too.
You're a horrible man. Horrible.
I know.
I strive, folks.
Thursday, however, I will be joined by Sean and Kat. We'll be doing Showgirls, Striptease, and Hustlers. Jesse, what do you think those movies have in common?
Boobs.
That's right. Boobaloobaloobies.
Boobaloobaloobies.
And then a week from tonight, the Metal Hammer of Doom is back. So we're not playing music anymore. It's become too difficult. There's problems with the recording of them. The last couple of Metal Hammer of Dooms, they were like really choppy. The sound, like the sound just kept dropping out of it. And I don't know if it's somebody else's internet is causing it. I don't know if it's an internal problem with StreamYard. I can't get these problems fixed, and I don't know what to do. I almost stopped doing the show entirely, but I was convinced by Mick and Robert Cooper to continue the show, just make it more talky, so we can still talk about albums. We don't have to play the music.
Correct.
So we're gonna eventually redo the Fra Diavolo episodes. We'll just do them later in the year. But tomorrow, or rather a week from tonight, I wanted to keep Biohazard on the schedule in its regular place. So we're not going to play any music videos, but we're going to talk about Biohazard. And then maybe Jesse will have a game for us, and it'll all be wonderful. Not one where we can play music, though, because we don't want to because we have to live stream these things, and we can't play anything. We'll get kicked off of YouTube. Right, Jesse?
That's the way it works.
Yep. A week from that, a week from tomorrow, it'll be Thanksgiving week. We'll be reviewing Wicked Part 2. Alexis will be doing Has Been Hotel Season 2. No show Wednesday, it looks like. Yeah, I think that's it for the week. I think it's a short week because of Thanksgiving. So that's it. So it's just those couple of shows. Last week we did Masters of the Air. We did Predator Badlands. We reviewed Only Murders in the Building. And then we did an on-trial for the original Running Man. Still the best Running Man. But definitely by comparison. So, Jesse, this was fun. I always enjoy doing these triple features with you. I'm glad this one was not the suicidal experience that the Darren Aronofsky one was.
The wife did not want to kill you, so you're good. You're good.
I wonder when is so the next Mark and Jesse experience, we'll be going back to doing some television. We were supposed to do a lot of television in the last little bit, but it didn't happen. We're gonna get started on Legit Season 1. Have you ever seen this?
No, tell me, just give me 50 words or less what it's about.
So basically, it's Legit is a sitcom starring a comedian that I really like. He's the guy that did the thing on gun control.
Okay.
No clue, huh?
Nope.
Hang on. Let me get his name real quick.
Gun control.
Jim Jeffries.
Oh, okay. I've heard his name.
Yeah, Jim Jeffries got really popular in America. He was already a popular comedian. He already had a couple of specials. But he got popular, especially on the internet, from a bit he did in one of his stand-ups where he laid out his arguments against gun ownership. He talked about gun control, and he did it in a way that like people started using it in like college arguments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his shit got viral real quick. So he did 2 seasons of a show called Legit that was based on one of his real life friends who is disabled.
Okay.
And he talked about, and the reason why I know that is he talked about it on his stand-up where they wanted to get a disabled actor to play that role. And I don't think that's where they landed. I'll do a little bit more research on the show before then. But Legit is about this person and this person in Jim Jeffries' life. And that's really all I know about the show. But I was interested when he talked about it. I was interested. I have a podcast. I have a friend that'll do anything I ask him to do.
That's me.
That's you. So I was like, all right, well, we talk old TV. No one will care that we're doing this. But I say that about a lot of things that you and I do. And then I get comments on YouTube like, you're the only people talking about this, and I love this show. All the attention.
Ooh, we like that.
Yeah. It's 50-50. It's either nobody is talking about this, and there's a reason because nobody gives 2 shits and a fuck. Or somebody's like, nobody's talking about this, but these two Nick Beards are. So lots of attention. That's how my interview with the Vampire Show went.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. That apparently has like a rabid fan base, and they will devour anything. So like all the people who would have never have come to pay attention to us came to see the interview with the vampire review.
Vampires.
Yeah. So, all right, Jesse, I'm going to take more meds and pass out.
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
All right. For Jesse, I'm Snotty McGee. Be well, be safe, and behave.